Hey ladies, so I had a request for how I make my twisted batik bow like this. I think this measures about 4 inches and I freehand it. The only thing I use is this thing. If you don't have one of these, this is a salon clip. I bought mine from Hair Hardware, I think. They sell them at Hobby Lobby and I think Sally's Beauty Supply, and it's just like, this is amazing, so get one. But that's the only thing I use. I might use an alligator clip just to hold stuff, but other than that, I don't use any templates or anything. But yeah, this may be a 2-in-1 kind of tutorial because I have another one that I will just insert because I'm actually making 2 twisted batik bows to make another bow. But I figured since I was making a twisted batik bow, I might as well just show you what I'm actually making them for. So anyways, let's get started. All right, so I'm using 28.5 inches of 1.5 inch ribbon to make a 4-inch boutique bow. Like I said, the only thing I use is a salon clip. Make your first loop. I don't have it at too much of an angle. I don't have it like straight on, I don't think, really, just kind of at a little bit of an angle. See that? That'll be your first loop, and depending on how big you want your loops to be and how big you can make them with the ribbon, just kind of eyeball it. Kind of eyeball it a little bit. Then you may take your other one and put it over top of this loop, just overlapping like a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. But now you can start to see your 2 loops here, like so, something like that. We'll see how well this one works. I usually have to do them a couple times, but I take my alligator clip and I clip this all together, and I don't clip it very far into, I don't know how to explain this. I don't put the clip on very far just because for your other loops, they'll need to go under both of these, kind of over halfway. So it's just easier if the clip isn't clipped too far, if that makes sense. All right, now take your 3rd one and you put it, like I said, you put it under your first loop and you put it under the 2nd piece. So you put it under both of those. I'm like literally shaking right now, you guys. I don't know if you can see this, but I am. This bow is so intimidating to me. And I haven't made a tutorial in a while. So just kind of eyeball, make your loops. I push it in a little over halfway, maybe even just halfway. And that's your loop. All right. And I take my 4th piece, and I loop it so that it makes kind of an X. You don't want it too far in. You don't want it straight. I kind of just make sure it lines up with the first loop here, if that makes sense. Oh, I'm shaking so bad. And then you just kind of eyeball and make sure that everything is all straight and even. And if it's not perfect, as long as they have the shape and size I want, I just take my salon clip and go ahead and I put it in there and make sure I hold everything. And I take my alligator clip off, and this is kind of where I make sure all the loops are exactly straight because it's all held together, and it won't move too much. So just straighten it out. Like I said, I don't make like super perfect ones, but a couple of these asked me for a tutorial, so that's what I'm doing. But this is what it looks like. Got a little bit of a tail here. This is the back. You want to make sure that these are straight. You don't want, I'm not going to move it, but you don't want them all slanted. You got to make sure they're straight. So this is pretty even to me, actually. I'm kind of surprised that I didn't have to do it more than once. And some ladies like to sew. I, however, use this string, and I bring it up in every video, but I still have not figured out what exactly it's called, but it's super strong. It's almost like yarn, but it's not as fuzzy and it's not as like thick. Can y'all see it? Oh, this is fuzzy, but it's really strong. So I just loop it through like this, each side. And if you notice, my salon clip is, oh, where's my finger? My salon clip is, I guess, upside down. I have the valley part facing on top because the other part curves up and it's easier to tie it or to sew it in the back when it's closer to you, because this is obviously farther away. It's harder to get in there, but this part is raised, so just keep that in mind. And now I just tie it once. Make sure I tie it tight. Hold my fingers. This is where I love having long fingers, you guys, because I can do all sorts of things. All right, now I turn it over. The front of it, you should see your little tail. A lot of people, I got it mixed up at first. I thought this was the front of it and I was like, what the heck? But the part where your little tail is the front. And see, I mean, it's not looking too bad so far. I just need to shape it a little more, and I'm gonna end up cutting this tail. But I always go and I tie it again, just to be sure. And like I said, I've been using this thread for a long time and no bows have come apart with it. So I don't know, it's just what I use, but it's definitely preference. Some sew, some just tie their embroidery thread around. I use this. So, all right, now you just shape it. That is how I make it. At this point, if you were just making a twisted batik bow, I would put some hot glue in the center. And where did my ribbon go that I was using? Oh, here it is. Put some hot glue in the center and tie it off in the middle with whatever you want, and then use whatever type of hardware you put in the back. Yeah. So that is how I make my twisted batik bow. But I am actually not making these to be twisted batik bows. I am making what I call the octopus bow. This has been a very big trend lately. So I will just show you how I make it in English. A lot of the tutorials are in different languages. So I have my two twisted batik bows here. And the nice thing about this type of bow, the octopus bow, I think it's called like a double or something, is that you don't need your loops like perfect. If you want them perfect, then, you know, whatever, but like, I don't think they have to be super perfect for this one, because you're just like basically smushing them together. So you I know they look so pretty. I hate like smushing them, but you basically have to smush them, like flatten one side out like this, whatever side that is, and I make sure that this loop is bent down. I'm not sure if there's a real preference for that, but I make them like this. I bend them down. And you take your second bow and you do the same. These are so pretty. I hate smushing these. I have made so many twisted batik bows making this bow that I'm starting to get the hang of it, and I really love it. So you just take your smushed bows, the end that you smushed, and you smush those smushed ends together like so. And you are getting your octopus bow. Now I lay my string down, I lay it on top, I lay this one on top, and I make sure that they're still the way that I want them. All right. I throw these sides over. I'm not really usually a fan of big bows, but I am in love with this bow. Like, in love, you guys. I cannot get enough. I have made so many, and it's just so addicting. So. And it ends up looking like this. Like I said, you don't need like super perfect loops. The only loops I would suggest making sure that are symmetrical, not that you want your whole bow, the rest of the bow all crazy looking, is the two top bows. But that's what it looks like. And I don't do too much shaping after this. I find like the more I mess with it, the crazier it looks and the less cute it looks. So I just end up leaving it like this. Yeah, I just glue my little piece of 3/8 inch ribbon on, and my, don't you hate when like your glue gun, like your glue stick isn't pushed far enough down into it and you run out of glue mid gluing? Ugh. All right, just stick that on there. But I will just line an alligator clip then, and then attach that to the back. But yeah, this is what it will end up, wait, what is the, okay, this is the top. This is what it ends up looking like. This is like a 2-in-1 tutorial. I can't, what is going on? This is like a 2-in-1 tutorial, you guys. How awesome is that? So that is just how I make it. Super easy, super quick, and I am so obsessed with these, you guys. I just can't even. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed, I would love if you did for more tutorials. I have a couple more planned. My husband, however, is getting LASIK surgery on Monday, so I will be taking care of my 3 toddlers and my husband. So I might be a little busy, but I will try to get the next tutorial up very, very soon. But anyways, yeah. So I hope everybody has a good weekend.